When you conduct a presentation, when you run a meeting, when you address a group of people, your message goes far beyond just the words that you say and the structure that you deliver those words in. There are just an incredible amount of nonverbal messages that you send to others directly and indirectly that become part of the overall message that you convey to others. In this video, I'm going to share with you 6 ways to enhance the overall message that you send by focusing on your nonverbals. The first is to use pre-suasion to your advantage. And I'll say that again, pre-suasion, not persuasion, but pre-suasion. That's essentially lubricating the people that you connect with to be much more receptive to the message that you're about to deliver. It's essentially ensuring that they have a good impression of you, a first impression of you prior to when you speak. And that can be things like giving people an agenda in advance, perhaps sending them information that they're going to need to give them an idea of what to expect when you speak, but also sending it on time, because doing what you say is part of the messages that you say, and delivering things when you say that you're going to deliver them is part of that message. So that's part of persuasion, right? Creating good rapport, good relationship with the people that you're going to communicate prior to an event. It also involves the first impression that you make when you first walk into a room. It's the posture that you have, it's the facial expressions that you have, it's the speed at which you walk, it's the clothing that you wear. All of those convey a nonverbal message that essentially precedes the words that you're about to say, that sets the tone of what you're about to verbally say. You've probably been in a meeting where on a Monday morning someone comes in and they just have dreary eyes, very poor body position, and they're about to speak. Well, you look at that and it essentially sets the tone of, you know what, I'm not going to expect much from this. This is going to be dry, this is going to be boring, this is going to be dull, and more often than not, it turns out to be so. So that's the first strategy. Apply persuasion. The second strategy is to just convey energy, show energy. If you've been in a presentation or a meeting before where the other individual was just dry, they just seem so just fatigued and lacking in energy, well, that came across in the messages that they were saying. Despite having great information, great data, just because they had no energy, it just fell flat. Part of keeping the attention of the audience, getting them engaged, getting them to want to listen to the rest of what you're saying, is to project energy. But energy isn't something that you can just really muster at the moment. It is the byproduct of your lifestyle. So one thing that I would really encourage you to do is to embrace a lifestyle that builds energy, whether it's fitness, stress management, healthy eating, effective sleeping. You do those things when you are called to speak, when you have to present it to others, for others, the energy will be there. I would say also, complement that energy by making big gestures. Use your facial expressions more. Think about using your body more. Think about using space a little bit more. You do that, energy plus big facial expressions, big gestures, big movement will help your message connect with your audience and keep their attention. The third step is just simply to use distance as a tool to convey intimacy and connection with the other individual or individuals who you're presenting with. If you think about it, the further you are away from somebody, that essentially projects distance, lack of connection. But the closer you get to somebody, that creates a little bit more intimacy. We often don't think about the power of spatial distance to communicate, yes, that we want to connect with the individuals that we're addressing. So the rule of thumb is just keep moving closer and closer to your audience and get rid of any type of barriers that are between you and them, whether it's a table, a desk, a lectern, a podium, whatever it might be. Just get rid of that, move closer to your audience. The next strategy is simply to dress for influence or dress for success. The choice of clothing that you use, yes, can influence how other people perceive you. Think about the difference between police officers wearing traditional office wear versus tactical gear. Just the simple difference in clothing can project a different image, send a different nonverbal message. But the other benefit of being very selective in what you wear is based on a term called enclothed cognition. And what that essentially means is that the clothing that we wear, well, that can impact how we think, how we feel, and then ultimately how we behave and react. So if we wear clothing that makes us feel confident, we'll actually project more of that confidence when we interact with the world around us. So by choosing and selecting clothing that make you feel strong and confident, that will come out non-verbally when you speak and when you communicate with others to make sure or to ensure that your message is much more likely to stick and be believable. The next strategy is simply to engage with the audience. We've all been there where someone just has a monologue, where it's just a data dump where they just talk and they hope that you retain and understand all the information that they had conveyed. My challenge to you is to kind of flip it around and create a dialogue where it may not necessarily be exactly a conversation, but it's close to it. You interact with them. You ask them questions, you paraphrase, you get their input, because there's nothing more powerful to get people involved than to ask and get their perspective from their learned experiences. In school, yes, children can really absorb information because they don't have much life experience. But when you're an adult, when you're a professional, so many professionals have just so much life experience and worked experiences that can only contribute to the conversation. So just engage with them. And if it becomes more closer to a conversation, well, it'll be easier of a presentation generally, and also people will feel much more engaged and much more apt to participate, and they will actually get more out of it. The next strategy is to simply design slides that look like highway billboards versus textbook pages or pages out of a textbook. If you think about it, highway billboards are designed for a quick glance, and then you get the context of the message, you get the message, and then you return back to driving. Think about the same thing in terms of your presentation or any type of slides you're trying to present. They're just meant to be something that someone can look at very, very quickly and then return back to you, your nonverbals, through facial expressions, body language, as well as the words that you're trying to relay. They should not be the message in and of themselves. And you can do that by putting more and more images and graphics into your slides versus having them largely text-based. So that becomes a very powerful strategy. So there you have it. 6 nonverbal strategies that will enhance your ability to get your message across, so you have a very powerful and rich information package that you are delivering to others when you present, conduct meetings, or just speak to audiences. Good luck. If you're looking to enhance the presentation skills, general communication skills, or public speaking skills of your team, feel free to contact me at john@johngodoy.com or visit my website at johngodoy.com to learn more. I'd love to work with you.